It is finally here, the Superman trailer. We got it. Let's talk about it. First things first, I want to say I think the colors look great. I saw people on Twitter complaining about them when we got that teaser, but I really like the colors. I think everything pops, everything looks nice. I love Crypto. Crypto showing up, Superman's all beaten up, bloodied. The way the scene plays out with the little bit we get of it, with him whistling for Crypto and the blood coming out of his mouth as he does so. And then Crypto shows up and acts exactly how a dog would, which is just like, hey, what's up? What are we going to do? He was thinking, my buddy's calling me. We're probably going to play fetch, do something sick. But of course, he's a dog. He has no idea what Superman's just been through, what's going on. Love that. That was great. The Daily Planet looks amazing. I like how it looks exactly how I know it from the comics. It doesn't look like some boring old ass office like in the previous iteration, like we got with the Snyder films. So I think that's cool. I do love also how Superman is just towering over everyone in Metropolis on his way to work. In that scene, you just see Clark walking to work, like hustling to get there. You just see he's a foot taller than everyone. That's great. I really like that. And there's only really one problem I have with the trailer, and it's more of a nitpick because it's something I expected and knew was going to happen. They do in every single Superman movie. It annoys me, and I'd like one of these movies to actually get it right, and that's that Clark and Lois. Well, Lois already knows that Clark and Superman are one and the same, and they're already together and everything. And I think that just kills a bunch of stories that you could tell. I think I really like when Clark has to win over Lois, and she doesn't know that Clark and Superman are one and the same, and they have a lot of great stories there. And Clark having to hide the fact that he's Superman and the things that he has to do because of it. I think there's a lot of really interesting stories to tell there, and I love it. And all the movies are like, what if we didn't do that? What if we gave you like maybe 10 minutes of that, and then she finds out? And it's really annoying. And they're doing it again in this because we see her making out with Clark and Superman. And she knows that Clark and Superman are one the same, and it's that's just, again, not a huge complaint because I expected it. Every movie does it. It's just very annoying. It's like, why are you limiting yourself? You can go there later. You can go there later. Later, she'll eventually find out. But we don't got to go there right away. We can do that later, We can save that. But instead of killing these stories that you could tell, you tell these stories first, and then you go to that other place. Instead, now those stories are impossible to tell because she already knows cat's out of the bag. I could see some people being like, well, then I couldn't take Lois seriously because how could you be so stupid and not know Clark and Superman are one and the same? If that's your opinion, you're a dumbass. So I just think that's just a really stupid opinion to be like, oh, I couldn't take Lois seriously as a reporter. How could you not tell Clark and Superman? It's a comic book movie. What are you talking about? So, anyways, that's my only complaint about the trailer. The rest of it, I think, is great. I'm glad that Nicholas Hoult got cast as Lex. We finally have an age-appropriate Lex Luthor, because every other Lex Luthor is like 20 years older than Superman, unlike in the comics where they went to school together. I much prefer this. I like this a lot more. I'm excited to see Nicholas Hoult as Lex. He pulls off the bald head well. We see him beaten up and crying at one point. He's got a revolver, which everyone, when they see the revolver, thinks, is there kryptonite bullet in there? Of course you're thinking that. We see some kaijus. I don't know if these kaijus just came out of the sea or if maybe they're Phantom Zone related. There's a lot of different elements, different things that Superman is going to be fighting in this movie. We see, I don't want to say who it is because there's been a lot of leaks and speculation on who the masked person is he's fighting in the baseball stadium. Just in case, if you're one of those people that doesn't look into all that, I don't want to spoil it for you. So I won't say who I think that is, but some superpowered being he's fighting there in that suit. That looks interesting. So he's fighting like some superpowered dude. He's gonna be fighting. He's gonna be fighting some kaiju's. Probably gonna be fighting Lex. We see Mister Terrific fighting some guys that are in looks like Lex Luthor colors. They're in that sort of purple, pink, and green. So Lex is sponsoring these guys. Something that I do want to talk about also though is Bravia. Bravia is mentioned in this. That looks to be a big part of this trailer. Something's going on there. So in the comics, back in 1939, in a Superman comic, Bravia was going through a civil war. They're this fictional like European country in DC Comics, and Clark was sent to not to Bravia but to investigate this scientist who said that he had this new thing he was working on. He says, I have the most deadly weapon ever of all time, and it's a gas that could go through gas masks. And he demonstrates that by killing a monkey in front of Clark Kent. He's just like, hey, look at this monkey with his gas mask. He just gasses it, and he's like, the monkey's dead now. But then that guy gets killed by some bad dudes who then take the formula for that gas and sell it to like an arms manufacturer in Baravia who's trying to profit off this civil war. And it's a pretty funny comic because, again, it's back in the 30s, so there's a lot of funny stuff that happens in it. Like, at one point, Superman gets captured by one of the sides fighting Baravia and gets put into a firing squad. And of course, obviously, the bullets don't hurt Superman. So one guy's like, "We're firing blanks," shoots his own foot, and finds out he's not firing blanks. But anyways, I think some of that might actually influence what we're getting in this because that's like the only Superman Bravia story there is. I don't think it's going to be about a gas that's involved in the Civil War. Also, at the end of that story, Superman forces a truce between the two by pulling a Samson. Two of the two sides are meeting, so are a peace treaty, but they're both like, "You're ridiculous. We're not going to sign this treaty." And then Superman just takes out all of the pillars except for one. Is like, "Hey, if you guys don't sign for peace, I'm going to take out this final pillar and it's going to crush all of you and you're all going to die." So then they quickly sign for peace. Doubt that's going to happen in the movie. But what I do think is going to happen is we're going to have Superman getting involved here, whatever's going on. We see that one Bravian kid calling out for Superman with the Superman flag. And we see Superman like in a glass box with a bunch of people surrounding him, punching out. I think that's in Bravia. I think that might be the version of Superman getting caught in the firing squad, except here when he gets captured, he doesn't get put in a firing squad, he gets put in a box with whatever other people. And I think that also might be connected to that part when he's walking into the Stag building and everyone's out there like being like, "Boo, Superman bad," and that guy throws like a cup at him or whatever. I think that might be after him getting like punished or penalized or talked to by the JSA for his involvement in whatever's going on in Bravia, if it's a civil war in this or if it's something different. But that's what I think is going on. I think they might be like, "Hey, you're the new kid on the block," because what's going on here is the JSA has been established, and I believe Maxwell Lord is like their benefactor. That's why they all wear the same suits and everything. And Superman's like the new kid on the block. He's a new superhero. I think that's when Guy Gardner and the other JSA, like Hawk Girl and all them, are gonna be like, "Hey, Superman, you need to stay out of that stuff. Where come join us or something. You can't be going, doing whatever you want." And I think that's what's going on there because you see Guy Gardner walk up to talk to him. You see Superman's kind of shooken up. It appears there's going to be a fight at the Fortress of Solitude, or something's going on. Something happened at the Fortress of Solitude because Superman's in what looks like the fortress because it's all a Arctic setting, and you see he's holding one of his bots there that's been like torn in half. So something happened there. Again, that could be maybe a kaiju escaped the Phantom Zone in the Fortress of Solitude, and that's what happened there. Or it could be that dude from the baseball stadium that wanted to hit that up. Who knows? There's any number of things. Lex could be involved. There's a million different things. I love that when he's Superman, he's got the S curl, and when he's Clark, he's got the bangs. I think that's great. I noticed it's a Luthor Corp instead of LexCorp, which I believe Smallville is the only other time they did Luthor Corp instead of LexCorp, I think. So I don't know why they decided to change that. Whatever. Not a big deal. I would have preferred LexCorp, but not a huge deal. I love the look of Metropolis. And yeah, just overall, I'm hyped by this trailer. The score that plays in the background is great. We get some hints of John Williams, and the teaser that we got earlier this week, that song that played or score, that played. That's something that James Gunn talked about, because all of his movies like Guardians of the Galaxy and everything have a lot, and the Suicide Squad, a lot of needle drops, a lot of songs that he puts in there. But he said this one's going to be not very many needle drops. It's much more of a score focused movie instead of songs. So I like that because I don't think we need to be hearing, AC/DC or anything like that in a Superman movie. I don't think it fits as well. So I'm glad that he's toned back. He also talked about he's going to be toning back on the comedy in this. I'm like, yes, I'm happy about that. I'm glad that, because that was my initial fear when James Gunn was announced to be writing and directing this. Like, oh no, it's going to be all the James Gunn-isms in this movie. And I don't think he really fits Superman. But it sounds like, no, he's tailoring his style to more fit Superman. I'm happy about that. I'm happy that he's not like, no, I'm going to mold Superman into my style instead of the other way around. I'm happy about that. So far, everything looks pretty good. I'm excited. Still have no clue what's going on with that big ball of energy laser thing, whatever, that we got from the first ever reveal of Superman in this movie to now in this trailer. We'll see it a couple times. Don't know what's going on there. But I'm excited. I think it looks good. Please be good. Please get this right. Because if you don't, this is another dead in the water DC universe. But also, it'll really hurt as a Superman fan to have another bad Superman. Who knows how long till we get another? Because I think, a lot of the casting in this is great. I think David Cornsweet looks perfect as Superman. I think Lois looks perfect. I think Jimmy Olsen looks great. A lot of this, I will say one thing looks awful. Feel bad for you Guy Gardner fans, because Guy Gardner looks like shit. He looks horrible. Love Nathan Fillion. That's obviously a James Gunn thing right there, where it's just like, he's a joke. That's it. Feel bad for you Guy Gardner fans. Obviously, Guy Gardner has been treated as a joke before in the comics, but not all the times. He's had character arcs, and he's actually, been taken seriously and had things to do and been pretty cool. But I don't think that's going to happen in James Gunn's DCU. I think he's just going to be a dumbass and just there for comedic purposes. But who knows? We'll see. He looks horrible though. But Mr. Terrific looks good. Anyways, that's basically all I had to say. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments below. What did you think of this? I want to hear from you guys in the comments. And yeah, I'll see y'all later.
Hey, skinny boy, saucy boy, I be running to the bank. Yeah, you know I hit the gas in the whip full tank. Riding past the ocean while I'm listening to Frank.